Hey everyone, Zernhaz, and welcome back to another video of our revision Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Today we have another Lunar New Year event with Resnick the Hoppy, exclusive unit for Global, coming out, and we'll have a quick overview of what she's all about, her skills, maybe how she fits in a team and things like that. Then we'll have a look at the new event that is being released in regards of another story, and we also have 4 weapons, 4 equipments that have had their +6 upgrade. We'll have a look at which one might be worth using if you're low on hearts. Okay, before we start, why don't we talk about the upgrades that have occurred with the new version of the game. So apparently now instead of speed plus ×1, now all games will have default speed 1.5. Big change because, come on, let's be honest, 1.5 is the real 1 speed. Like, who would play ×1? That's like ridiculously slow. Anyway, let's not waste time and let's delve directly into the summons and see what we have. First thing that I really appreciate, so I already have done mine for the day, but on top of this free summon that gives you at least 1 MR unit plus equipment, you also have I think 10 summon, which is free. I don't think the MR are guaranteed for that one, but it's pretty nice. Kind of redundant for us veteran players, but if you're new, you're jumping in because of Adrian Ray, or you're aware that there's a 3rd anniversary coming up and you want to be prepared for that, then those free summons will be pretty good for you. If you scroll down, I don't want to do this. I actually want to delve directly into Resnick the Hoppy. And from what I've seen her kit, I've seen her stats, and I believe that she definitely synergizes very well with Kiton, Halloween Frederica, and also to a certain degree Zazan, the all-Earth evasive unit. And it might come across as counterintuitive because usually Earth units are kind of defensive, very bulky. But in War of the Vision, actually, alongside Light, they seem to be the most evasive type of element around, especially with the selection of vision cards that we have. As you can see, these are the vision cards that will definitely pair well with her, as well as Frederica and Kiton, and Zazan. You are Zazan, of course. So what do I think of her? Let's have a look at her stats. And here we can see that her dexterity and luck are not in the 200s, which will definitely come across as less of an evasive unit, but she can still do it. I managed to make King Mont evade, so if you really want, you can do it. It'll be a bit hard for her, that's why her kit does involve having courage and trying to mitigate damage for herself. But if you were to pull her, I think I would kind of make her a one-trick pony in regards of taking advantage of her re-raise removal, courage removal, protect removal, and heal decrease. So I think I'll probably just leave those 4 skills on, and then on top of her LB, so that then she can better support the other units that she's paired with. One crazy combo that I just thought about would be having Titan as a vision card with Human Killer and Evasion up, and then having Resnick do her LB, which will reduce single target resistance, and then with Kiton you just do Drain Force, and I think they should be able to kill the enemy at least with 1 or 2 drains, especially now that we have a lot of equipment that has high HP. That will definitely improve her efficacy of Drain Force. That's just one way I'd go. When I have a look at her kit, I think that she's quite a D meta unit. She's supposed to shut down the meta. Let's have a look at her. When we have a look at her kit and what she does and the elements that are going to be affected, I can definitely see lightning and light into her scope of shutting down. Light is very well known for having a lot of courage and re-raise, and lightning to a certain degree as well. They have some units do have courage, but on top of that, her weapon does have reaction block rate 30, so a lot of those lightning elements that have reflex and things like that. So I think she'll do a pretty good job at shutting down 2 of the most prominent elements in Global. Yes. Obviously, all good units need to have a weakness. We do have Wind that is still currently very prominent, and that's fair enough. I think she's not evasive enough to warrant the fact of not being hit unless there's a 100% hit skill. And I don't think that a lot of wind units have 100% skill attacks as well. So in terms of shutting down tanks and shutting down 2 elements, I think that's probably what you want her for, on top of her looks as well. I do understand that there is a following for Resnick. Okay, let's stop rambling and let's move on to the next section. Yes, when we go onto the shop, pretty happy to announce that package has actually been released. So if you guys were waiting for some paid vis to confirm the Psaro vision card, definitely do that. You won't be disappointed in the long run. When we have a look at the deluxe shop, I think I really just go for the Shardless stuff here. Everything else seems pretty expensive. The 300 paid still doesn't have a guaranteed ticket, so I'll probably steer away and save my stuff. I've already bought what I think was of interest here, and we also have Lunar Year if you need to finish up your Moore and stuff like that, or you just picked her up while pulling for Resnick, you do have some support of enhancing those units. Now when we go on to far plane, a couple of things to have a look here. One thing I'll mention that hasn't been very well advertised is that now you can actually bring slime to level 115, and the fact that this quest is buried all the way down here will make it a bit harder to figure out. I think it's really important that you do it now, because with the selection with the current class matches that are cost 220, you can have 2 cost 100 unit, and then your slime as a cost 20 to make a pretty strong team, and it will be in your best interest to have him at level 115. As per standard, we can try Resnick. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary there. I did touch on her weapon while we were covering the unit in the summon section. I think this weapon is definitely only tailored for her, but the skin looks pretty nice. So if you're not planning to pull Resnick, yeah, keep the dagger for the skin. We did have a bit of a hint on chapter 2 of another story. The characters are a bit edgy, they're a bit kind of stereotypical, I'd say. Not my favorite so far, but we'll see what they bring to the fray when they can be pulled. So I'm pretty interested in that aspect of the units. Okay, while we are here, why don't we talk about the level 6 plus 6 upgrades for 4 weapons. So let's go through them real quick. So we'll have the Sable Storm. The Sable Storm definitely becomes more defensive with the addition of critical evasion plus 15. Not much of a gain in attack and other stats. So if you do have the Warrior of the Crystal, the Wind Warrior of the Crystal, this would be a pretty good weapon for her. I wouldn't give this weapon to anyone else, to be honest. Now, Suppressive Pile, I think is getting the biggest upgrade there. 33 extra magic is significant, and increased magic attack plus 10. On top of the fact they already had magic attack resistance penetration, your magic damage dealing units will definitely benefit from that. Sealed Rim Spectacles. I'm actually impressed with this upgrade. 10 points of accuracy is a lot. And on top of that, you also get a bit more AP. So I think I'll probably build 2 or 3, especially if we are planning or we are envisioning to enter the fire evasion sub-meta. I'd definitely at least make 2 versions of this. And Pious Gloves, I think if you do have more the merrier. Yeah, pretty much that's mostly for her. 28 magic, still pretty good. And yeah, that attack resistance penetration can be negligible for her specifically, especially when we're gonna have a look at her MA2. But every little bit of buff does count, isn't it? Okay, from here, why don't we talk about the more the merrier MA2? Let's segue into that. And on top of what she already had, doesn't seem like she has many upgrades on what she already had, other than the fact that now she gets magic attack resistance penetration innate and a bit of AoE resistance, so that if she is trying to heal her squad and she gets caught into an AoE, she might not die in one hit. Unfortunately, Ice is known for big AoE attacks, and this might mitigate some of the weaknesses that entail unfavorable matchup. And with that is all. Thank you very much for tuning in. Happy to hear any comments you might have. I respond to positive, negatives. Let me know how we're going. And with that, you guys take care. Enjoy the new content. Good luck for pulling, if you're pulling for Resnick. I hope that she turns out the way you want her to. You guys take care and have a good one. Bye.